secret history, though. Oh, hey, welcome back to the last installment of 2024 Year in Review. Think Like a Keys Music. We're going over all the releases we've put out this year, and we're going to pick up with this one. This is Brevity, Home Where Your Dog Is. Some people say it was lost for 50 years because the dog couldn't find it. But anyway, here it is. Home is Where Your Dog Is. It's a Chicago collective led by Mark Breyer and Rick Vidinson, pretty much. And they went on to their own projects after this. So this was a bit of a lost group. And it was very exciting when this project came to us. The sad note is, though, we dedicate this to Mark because he passed away a couple months before we even really confirmed this was going to happen. But it happened, and it's here, and it's worth checking out. On the side note, this is one release that everyone seemed to have picked a lot on our marketing strategy, if you will. So some people just have to take a little chill pill, I think, sometimes. We're just trying to bring this music to your attention. If you disagree with it, that's great, but don't write it in a review. Now, if I told you that I'm not a big fan of tribute albums, you'd probably laugh at our next releases. The next one we put out was this, a tribute to Nirvana. Of course, it's the British Nirvana. And it's a very cool release that happened in 2020. Of course, we also know what cool things happened in 2020. It's just a bad situation where this record kind of just went under the radar. I won't mention which label released it. But anyway, it was only released on vinyl. So I talked to Patrick and Alex, and I was like, how about we do a new edition of it on CD? Add a few more songs, and this is the result. Yesterday's Sunshine Today. New magical covers of Nirvana songs, 1967, 1969. In fact, we expanded it with 4 extra tracks, including one from Norwegian, Super 8, John Howard. So we got, obviously, some Think Like a Key representing in there. And a brand new song, well, not brand new song, sort of, a brand new take on an old song from Patrick and Alex. So you got Nirvana 2024 track on here. So you have a worldwide disciples of psychedelia contributing here. You got Constantine, Echo Train, The Watch Brigade, 8x8, Costa Sergiu, Clockwork Flower, St. John Wood's Affair, and so many others. If you're a fan of Nirvana, check it out. And if you're not a fan, well, there's mixed reviews, but I think it's great. I think it's a great introduction to Nirvana if you're not familiar with their catalog. So next up is Never Let Go, a tribute to Camel. So yes, we've got the tributes coming in hard and strong. And this is hard and strong. In fact, that's what I enjoyed about it when it came to me. It came to me pretty much a finished release from Gothe and Fernando Perdomo. They had been working on this. There was a lot of muscle behind these tunes, and Camel's not really known for muscle. So I personally appreciate it. It was a very different take. It's not all like that. Obviously, you have a lot of instrumental material done very beautifully by these guys. A few guest appearances on here. Well worth checking out if you're a fan of prog rock or of Camel too.
See the sea, feel the sky. Don't know where you go when you die. Don't know the answers to what's in my mind. Riding on the wind and turning with the tide.
All right, and while we're on the tribute train, I'm going to bump this one up next. This is actually came out in October, not September, but it's a John Entwistle tribute, ex-Norwegian and friends. But it's mostly ex-Norwegian, but we do have a couple contributions from Super 8, God Bless the Evil Child, which were not with any ex-Norwegian involvement, but everything else is ex-Norwegian and some friends, including people we know from the Think Like a Key roster, right? John Howard, Fernando Perdomo, Mark Johnson, Nick Frater, and of course Keith Smart from St. John's Wood Affair. And we did 17 tracks on the CD. The digital version has a few less. Honestly, we could have done a double set. In fact, there's so many missing songs. The one that gets called out on is Heaven and Hell. But it's not that we didn't want to do it. It just we had to pick some songs here. But it's a cool release, if I say so myself. I think he's a very under-celebrated songwriter. You know, his bass playing is, of course, legendary, but his songwriting was pretty up there too in my book, and a few others. Thankfully, we've started building up a little John Entwistle fan club with this one.
Knowing one day you'd leave me, knowing one day you'd die, the least you could have done is make sure that I could live easy, that I could do my own talking, do my own walking, had a car that I could live by, do my own lying, do my own trying, make sure that I could get by. If I said,
All right, going back to our regular release schedule, Studio 3 is the next one that came out by Rogers and Butler. We have a nice vinyl, and of course, the CD. This was recorded in Abbey Road, so that's where the whole theme is, as you can see. And there's the magic of that studio, which is all on this record. So definitely check it out. Been doing very well on radio in the United States and hopefully worldwide for those adventurous DJs, and we'd like to thank them. And yeah, pick it up if you don't have it. Studio 3.
has a bed sit all alone and she walks the streets at night. It's a Soho fantasy, breaks a young girl's heart, robs her of her innocence, tears her apart. Nothing's as it seems in the land of your sweet dreams, in a Soho fantasy.
So we're back to a 7-inch release. However, this isn't a reissue. It's a brand new single, but from a legacy band, if you want to call them that. I hope they don't get offended. But the Shirts, okay, they haven't put out music in a while, and they're best known for their late 70s, early 80s albums on Capitol Records. And we're very pleased to have brought out something new from them. And it has the band firing on all cylinders, if I do say so myself. It's a very inspired single. Of course, they wouldn't have released it if they weren't inspired to do so. We were hoping to keep this format alive with the occasional brand new 7-inch single.
You've got to move on, you've got to groove on, you've got to get up out of bed and put your shoes on, toss all your worries into the slurry, ain't got too much time left, better hurry. Move on, groove on, move on, groove on.
Roger Knott's fast becoming not a stranger for Think Like a Key music. This is the second release we have, sort of a taster, if you will. It's 14 tracks. Originally it was going to be a 3 or 4 CD set, but no, we got these 14 tracks that I personally picked, and I think makes quite an excellent album if you're into, honestly, just good music. There's some country elements, but then a lot of these tunes come from the 70s, so there's that element. There's almost some gothic element to certain tracks, medieval, if you will. And that's probably why we got this cover here. It gives that vibe. This is one I really would hope people take a chance on. It's called Pulling the Plough That Furrows Deepest.
Sailing west, the hungry and the dispossessed come to claim their freedom in the mud. By the waterside, the immigrants stand down by the river.
Our next release is this album by Peter Daltrey. It's The Rhymer in the Long-Tongued Room. It's, I believe, his 27th album if you include Kaleidoscope Records and Fairfield Parlor. And we're very excited that this is, I think, the third sort of new Peter Daltrey album we've worked on. We had The Leopard and the Lamb, which we talked about on the first video, out technically in January this year. And this is another album. And then the album from last year, Running Through Chelsea. It's a collaboration with the No Escape, and it's well worth checking out. This one's a bit more lighthearted, I think. You can tell just by the design. This is a sealed copy, but inside there's a printed insert, numbered, signed off by Peter. There's only 100 that were pressed. Yeah, let's check out something from the album.
I hang around, waiting on my muse. I see her face through every glass of wine. I'm tempted to throw that towel in, because nothing ever seems to rhyme.
Now, this next release is something interesting, which we're going to hopefully start seeing a little bit more of, and that's exclusive releases, meaning you can really only pick it up on thinklikeakey.com or Bandcamp. Not for any other reason except these are special releases, special projects that we want to kind of offer like the hardcore fans first before we do put it, if we do put it out on mainstream distribution. This is Shawn Phillips' Outrageous, which is a January 1976 concert in Austin. And after a 50-year hunt, we recently found them thanks to some heavy sleuthing. It's all detailed here in the awesome booklet. This particular tour was a duo tour. It was only him and J. Peter Robinson. And if you're a fan, definitely something you have to check out. If you're familiar, we put out a 3 CD set live in the 70s. We were dealing with, unfortunately, subpar audience recordings for the most part. A few sort of off the soundboard mixes, but we were very limited to how good we could get this to sound. This is straight from the multi-track tapes. Brand new mix for everyone to enjoy. So do check it out.
Some castles where she wanders are yet crumbling into dust. In this house of visions on top of the hill, the glass has turned to rust.
In case you're wondering, well, that's not enough Shawn, I need more Shawn. Well, we got you covered with the Gatekeepers' new album featuring Shawn Phillips on the first track. Gatekeepers, of course, if you're familiar with them, this album came out a couple years ago, also featuring Shawn and artists like The Residents, R. Stevie Moore. In fact, let's just roll the list right now. So this is, we have a limited edition vinyl version and the CD version of this album. It's titled Nostalgia for the Great American Monoculture. So very in tune with the times, I think, that we live in. If you like Zappa's, and if you like Genesis, and if you like, prog Genesis, I don't know, if you just want something different, this will be your ticket to it. And again, I'm very proud that we're releasing, this is the second installment, and there's a third one on its way, perhaps next year.
There is so much you can hear and see. Anything you want, you can stream for free.
And alright guys, it's been quite a year, as I think you will agree. And if you're still with us on this video, this is the last one we have for you. Out right now, December, Shed No Tear, the Early Late Unicorn. Alright, what does that mean? Well, if you're familiar, we did the reissue of Too Many Crooks by Unicorn, one of the great albums from the mid-70s. And that was produced, of course, by David Gilmour, who sort of championed the band. This is the material that would have been their last album, but it's recorded in their shed, so hence the Shed Sessions. It's 14 tracks. You can't go wrong with any of these songs. And then we added a little bonus at the end of their earliest recordings, hence the late recordings, because they were called the late at the time. And so you got a few songs from their 1967-69 period. Very interesting to hear the development of this band. And there's previously a released bonus track worth checking out. And anyway, it comes with a cool booklet. Very proud of this release. Everyone's been loving it so far, and I think we're only getting better with these reissues, and there's lots more in store. But let's focus on some Unicorn, shall we?
Ma, I've been leaving you a long time now, and I must go soon, looking for a new place. Home leaves me such a bad taste. In the end, we all go our own separate ways.
Oh, hey, wow, more than a year it's been, huh? Wow, crazy how many albums we put out, releases, singles, you name it. We got a busy year coming up ahead, so keep it here, because we're gonna really be bringing you a lot of cool things next year, and we hope to do more videos, and so the subscribes help. And once again, we'd just like to extend our appreciation for the support on behalf of the label and the artists that we put out. It's just really to keep this sort of music alive. We don't know how many more years we have left, huh? Pretty soon, Think Like a Key, it might be AI music in a couple of years. So, stay tuned for that. It might be cool, right? Anyway, in a real note, thanks again for watching the series. We'll be busy next year, and we'll see you later.